Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the world of Fate's Day Night, and welcome to hopefully only like a 2 to 3 hour stream instead of like 18 hour or 12 hours, however long the thing went last night, because I forgot to hit the end stream button. Whoops. Hello, bird. Thank you for encouraging me in my time of embarrassing need. But we will be getting back to Fate's Day Night. We had a nice, relaxing day in our visual novel where we just hung out, we embarrassed ourselves, we got in a bathtub with a girl. Thankfully, TOS Tomberry was there to save us, because TOS Tomberry is the best. But before we get into that, we will be doing our musical... We'll do our musical theater karaoke after we do a little bit of Papaya, because Papaya is also the best. Yeah, I watched someone actually playing Radiata Stories the other day. I watched them beat the game, and then after the stream, like, they were like, oh, we have a few minutes left. What should we do to celebrate? And I said, hey, go put on the Papaya song, because it's the best part of Radiata Stories. And they was like, oh, I guess I never picked up that CD. And it's just like, why bother playing the game? It's not worth it trying to do that. Ugh. Some people out there are just sickos. Like myself, for being a musical theater nut. With the release of Beetlejuice happening, I've been on a bit of the musical kick. No surprise, because I absolutely adore that musical since I first heard it about a year ago. I feel like singing a little bit of The Whole Being Dead thing. Start off the stream as a vocal warm-up and to practice getting into voice. Although this is probably like an awful song to practice doing warm-ups, because doing like the Beetlejuice voice is probably like one of the worst things you could do before starting a stream. Oh well, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Maybe this will teach me a lesson. Hey folks, begging your pardon. Excuse me, sorry to barge in. Now let's skip the tears and start on the whole, being dead thing. You're doomed. Enjoy the singing. The sword of Damocles is swinging. And if I hear your cell phone ringing, I'll kill you myself. The whole being dead thing. Death can get a person stressed. We should have carped way more DMs. Now we're never gonna see them. I can show you what comes next, so don't be freaked. Stay in your seats. I do this bullshit like 8 times a week. So just relax, you'll be fine. Drink your $50 wine and take a breath. You're gonna be fine on the other side. Die, you're all gonna die, you're all gonna die. I'll be your guide to the other side. Everybody gets on fine here, like Rogers, Hart, and Hammerstein here. The women's bathroom has no lines here. Just pee where you want. The whole being dead thing. You're just gonna love the folks here. Yeah, I know you're woke, but you can take a joke here. And every show I do like a ton of coke here. The whole being dead thing. Nobody is bulletproof. I work out. I eat clean. Jesus, pass the Dramamine. Time to face the brutal truth, cause we're all on a hit list. Might not live till Christmas. Choked to death on Triscuits. Hey, it's just statistics. The water they'll break here, kinda like a wake here. The scenery is fake here, but there's a giant snake here. You're gonna be fine. Thank you. On the other side, how you doing? Hey, I'll be your guide to the other side. Seriously, though, this is a show about death. If you die while you're watching the stream, I'm still gonna keep playing. That's the thing with life, no one makes it out alive. Toss that body in the pit. Gosh, that's awful, ain't it tragic? Blah, 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 Jesus magic. When you're dead, who gives a shit? No Pilates, no more yoga, namaste, you frickin' posers. From the cradle to cremation, death just needs a little conversation. I have mastered the art of tearing convention apart. So how about we all make a start on the whole being dead thing? God, I hope you're ready for a show about death. Oh, Beetlejuice fun. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Dang it, Jordan. Your phone was ringing. Yeah, you're... Being an AI, you are in between life and death at all times, so I can't really kill you. Well, I could kill you, but you would just still continue to exist. Yes. If there is like a word in a song, I will sing it. I got no qualm with that, because, like, that's not me. That is a character performing. Oh, yeah, I did. I said the S word, and there was another word in that song that I said. But yeah, it's like, if I'm singing a song, I'm not going to censor myself. I do it as a joke with, like, the visual novel stuff. Like, when the words pop up with T.O.S. Tomberry, because T.O.S. Tomberry is a joke. Like, I don't curse personally, and, like, me reading is still, like, me still reading myself. But yeah, like, there's proof. I will say bad words. I will do stuff, but just, like, it's only in the context of character. That's not who Cardwiz is. That's not who Kirk is. I don't do that stuff. It's like, again, it's not a like, oh, shame on anyone who does this sort of thing. It's just like, no, I just don't like cursing personally. That's me. That's why TOS Tomberry is here. He is to protect us. He protects the stream and keeps it PG-13-ish. That is the goal of the stream. But after a day of relaxation and just having fun with the girls, one of whom we're kind of, well, all of them are living with us, mostly against my will. But they're still here. You curse like a sailor. Yeah, I know. It's cool. Like, I'm totally cool with being friends with, like, people who curse. It's just like, nope. Like, cursing isn't a big deal to other people. It's just like, I just never feel comfortable with it. So, personal choices. Heck yeah, I'm not, like I said, no shame on you, no judgment for me for whatever. Like, everyone has their own boundaries and lines with all sorts of different things in life in general. It's like the same, like, it's an extension, but it's like the same way with people who are just like, oh, if you eat Chick-fil-A, you hate gay people. It's like, no, it's not that thing. There's a line, or like, if you ever read Harry Potter, if you like Harry Potter at all, you're awful and you're for supporting a transphobe through J.K. Rowling, but, like, Harry Potter is still, like, one of my favorite stories of all time, and I will continue to read it pretty annually. Got back from reality testing. Guess who is no longer allergic to cats? Yes, we're going to have cats on Worst Stream! He's gonna get a cat whether he likes it or not. Yes, Pat Kitty, you can have your own Merlin. Oh, life is good. Oh, yeah. Starting off with Beetlejuice was a choice. My sinuses have already been, like, wrecked as though I've been doing the visual novel for, like, an hour and a half. Oh, boy. Someday you want a kitty named Lala? Yeah, that's a solid kitty name. Black cat named Lala. Is that a character from something? Is that the Outlaw Star cat girl? Okay. Oh, our main character is getting all serious again. Probably having a bad dream. Oh, it's from Gundam. It's a Gundam thing. What's a Gundam? It's probably something that's cool-ish, at least. Is it like Voltron? Is it as cool as Zoids? Is it as cool as the Big O? Probably not as cool as it's definitely not as cool as Power Rangers, let's face it. Sky is gray. The hill crimson with corpses. I do want to. Because I have the power of the Joy-Cons. I can slash at stuff all the time. That's what this is like. Well, I still have... It saddens me that we don't have, like, Beat Saber on this. Because, like, it's literally, like, the perfect thing for Switch, but whatever. Big O was something I need to rewatch. I haven't seen Big O since it like first aired, and like I would definitely enjoy that more now than I did when I was a kid. Oh. So I love the design of the arms. Like the arms and like the design of Roger and the maid girl. It's like, oh, that show had such style. So it's like one that's like, how did that it feels like this is so cool. How did this get made? Cool stuff like this doesn't get made. Dorothy, yeah. Oh, I need to watch Big O again. I need to find it. But I'm currently my rewatches right now. I'm still in the middle of like my 2-year long journey of rewatching Law and Order or watching it for the first time. I'm on season 14, but I'm rushing through that one, and I'm like watching the dub of Sergeant Frog because it's one of my favorite dubs of all time. It makes me laugh and smile so much, and it's just like I need something that will bring me joy. Put on Sergeant Frog. Ah, the heavy clouds drift away. Sergeant Frog rules. I love it. It's like it's just one of the biggest crimes ever that Sergeant Frog only got like the first 70 something episodes dubs, and it's like a 300 or 400 something episode series. It's like that hurts me. That show deserves just have a dub that goes on forever. Ghetto, 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 inatasume. Ah, so good. He is a nut with like the building those models of some sort. Yeah, whatever those are called. It just has all the references. A lot of them Gundam, but just like all the references. It's like one of the best like pop culture referential sort of shows ever. And like I thought that I wouldn't enjoy it on my rewatch because like, oh man, I haven't watched this in like 10 years. Like the references are gonna be like so bad and so dated. It's like, nope, it's still funny. It still rules. And I'm so glad it still holds up. Why didn't that dub go on forever? All right, we've read one line. Let's see if how far it long does it take to get to the second line. Let's do this. Okay. Do it. The heavy clouds drift away, heralding the battle's end. We have established that the two of them are seeing each other's dreams, so this is Shiro. So we do our protagonist voice. I know this scene. I've seen it many times now. Worse, you would love this protagonist. He not only has he been orphaned once, he's been orphaned twice. So he's like the strongest protagonist of all time. This is one of Saber's battles. She fought and won so many victories. Things like this are almost commonplace for her. Afterwards, she will return to her castle where her victory will be praised and celebrated. Then she'll prepare for the next battle. This is why you don't leave like, they've tried to kill him. They've tried to kill this character many times. They've killed this character enough times that we literally have a disembowelment counter, but he keeps coming back. His heart has literally exploded, and he's still here. It's like, once you've been orphaned twice, I think you just become invincible. This is just life for her. The only one of the 12 great battles she fought. And so she does not truly remember victory so much as just accepts it as a fact. I think she's misguided. She's just a dumb girl! This is not a dream. It's a cold reality. Her past that cannot be changed. Enjoy the look. The moment she drew the sword, she stopped being human. She became Gundam. Took over for her father as a feudal lord and became a king with many knights. He was known as King Arthur and Arturia. The life of the girl who once aspired to be a knight, was forced to end her life as she knew it. Might be a better way to put it. In that instant, the girl who still had such childlike features ceased to be and became the king of knights. She acted like she was the king's son. Ruler of territories and knights had to be made. Are we in the right place? Yeah, we're in the right place. Like, last time we had that happen. Like, this literally feels like this is the exact same thing we had the previous day at the start of the day. Well, alright. I don't know why I never realized the implications till now. As much public exposure as she had, managed to pass herself off as a dude the whole time. The suffering she had to endure must have been incredible. But a simple observation, never really understand. Suffering? I guess that could be suffering, but like that just depends on the person. She might not have been suffering, but it's like, I don't know. Again, I feel like this is once again Shiro putting his beliefs on other people, because that's what Shiro does. 10 years worth of memories as a king, and there was only one common thread the entire time. Even when she's on the throne, even when she's walking through the hallway, even when she's on the battlefield, no soul spoke to her. Even the round table, which was filled as it was with knights boasting of their valor, always fell silent the moment the king appeared. No one knew how to talk shop with the king, so that's what it meant. She was merely tolerated as an idol. Many knights looked down on Arturia with her boyish appearances and were ultimately not comfortable entrusting her with their blades. But because she drew the sacred sword that no one else could, they had to obey, even if it was only to keep up appearances. They just accepted the disgrace, believed it would pass. Sacred sword or no, the king was merely a child. Even with Merlin's support, the king would surely fail eventually. When that happened, they need only take the sacred sword from her and select a new king. Probably what most of the knights thought. Too bad, she's kind of immortal now. It's not how it went. The knight only just reaching adulthood was a flawless king. She enforced peace amongst the squabbling lords and fought off invaders as well. Yeah, so from my perspective, that, again, is like further reinforcing that Saber is probably around 18 when she drew that blade. Of course, this wasn't due to the sacred sword's power. The sacred sword only protects the king. The sacred stones, on the other hand, protect an entire nation. In Fire Emblem 8, the sacred the sacred stones, dang it. Ruined it. Ruined the bet. The king, on the other hand, protects their nation. And through her deeds, she was always able to maintain control of her knights. The sacred sword only protects her from enemies. It does nothing to help hold sway over the hearts of her subjects. That's why she's got to play it like a visual novel and try to get hearts with other people. Saber's bad at visual novels. It's okay. I've been there. I got the bad end of Phoenix Wright Justice for All Case 4 at least like 2 or 3 times before I figured it out. She worked herself to the bone to be the ideal king to all. At that point, the knights had no choice but to obey. They held their dissatisfaction for the young king in check because the king was freaking perfect, and they were awesome, and they were pretty, and they were handsome, and they were simply perfect at everything, and they could throw a football like 100 yards. And awesome. Strive to be the ideal king. The only condition for the knights' support was that their king had to be exactly that, the ideal king. There was no room for Arturia to be a human being. He could be a king, and only a king. The peerless knight who drew the sacred sword, who stopped aging in that moment, and who went on to win 12 great wars. The more perfect she was, the more people stayed away from her. That's why you gotta do the thing you see in, like, the movies and the TV shows. You gotta put on a disguise and just go hang out amongst the common people and stuff. Saber, you didn't watch enough sitcoms. You didn't watch enough plays about that sort of thing. This could have all been prevented if she had just done some cross-dressing antics. As this continued, the king grew more and more isolated. That was who she was. But she did well.
She did too well. She defeated the enemies and minimized her own side's casualties. No matter the battle, sacrifices must be made. So she believed it was her duty to make sacrifices, to bolster her army, and defeat the enemy without wasting lives. She would strip the resources from one village to prepare her army and defeat invaders so they could strike her land, saving perhaps 10 villages. That was a king's approach, and it proved the best strategy. But the knights must not have been happy. Them only the foreign invader should have died. The only true victory is one without sacrifice. There shouldn't be any need to sacrifice a territory before battle. They were going to win regardless, so the sacrifice was pointless. There wouldn't be any sacrifice, so the king's actions were just a waste. It was all just nonsense. Once the battle began, the knights spared not a thought for those little villages. No one thought about trampling villages. Protecting them was never a consideration. The knights claim there's nothing to be done when the enemy destroys such villages. But to let them be destroyed, that's a great crime. Obviously, she knew that.
I guess we're gonna keep dreaming for a while.
But a king cannot worry about personal feelings. See, we got the mirroring, or maybe the opposite mirroring, between Saber and Shiro. Yay!
It's absolutely no problem that you're late. I appreciate that you show up to these at all. I appreciate that even if you show up for a minute. The fact that you stay for most of these streams is just like, it blows my mind. I hope you're enjoying this madness, even though I'm doing things that I don't think you like.
He had to kill her emotions to make her decisions, and her knights had to suppress their own feelings to obey. And so sacrifices are made, and that string of victories stabilizes the nation. And in return, animosity for that king grew. King Arthur doesn't understand how people feel. So one knight was heard to say this as they left the castle. What a ridiculous story! She was expected not to be human, but they hated her precisely because she didn't have human emotions.
If Saber had just played, if King Arturia had just played some visual novels, this would all be fixed up. She would learn how to get all the hearts. But no, she refused to. She only played the action war games. This is why a Call of Duty bro should never be a king. That's what Saber is. Saber is just a Call of Duty bro.
The age of war continued. The animosity of the knights who had been dissatisfied with the only king only grew so after that knight left. They forced her to deal with every foreign and domestic enemy in hopes of pushing her over the edge. Collapse was imminent. These many problems confronting the nation were never resolved. It would crumble.
Yeah, I get that feel. I played Fable 3.
Even if all of them were to be resolved, what awaits is more of the same. But that didn't concern the king. Even should she be abandoned, feared, or betrayed, she will remain steadfast, as she had long since made up her mind. She abandoned her emotions the moment she decided to draw the sword. It's happened a long time ago. Knights from across the nation gathered to try to draw the sword from the stone, but none of them could do it because they're all dummies. The knights instead showcased their skill on horseback. The knights flocked to the arena. The sword and the stone lay outside, forgotten. From afar, it looked more like a festival. Even in the distance, the sound of valiant cavalrymen clashing is audible. Knights clashed in the distance, and the rock lay forgotten. What was going through the girl's mind as she stood in front of the rock?
It doesn't matter what was going through her mind!
Before she realized it, an unknown maid stood behind her. Tries to stop her for her own good.
The way it's building up, I think Castor is probably going to be Merlin. It feels like it's almost a certainty at this point.
She must have been terrified. The maid showed her the future. He showed her the end that she would meet if she drew this sword. No. It only made her more determined. Even after seeing that future, she only gave a firm nod. The mage asked again if that was what she wanted. I saw many people smiling. Cannot be a mistake. Took the sword in her hand. Mage looked troubled and turned away. What is most precious to Saber? We don't know. I would have assumed that, her people were what was most precious, but in a sense, she kind of did give that up a little bit. He departed with those prophetic words. That's right. She just wanted to protect everyone. But to do so, she had to abandon her desire to protect people. She cannot protect her country as its king, and if she still has a human heart. That's why she had to grab a pig heart. It's the closest thing, and you can use it for surgeries. Pig Heart Arthur, that's what we call her. Even knowing this, she drew the sword. She vowed to live as king. She will remain steadfast. Dear Lord, how many times are we going to say the same thing? We're going to say things a bajillion times. I'm sorry, I'm skipping. And her end did come. The Battle of Camlan. King Arthur set out on a campaign. One of her knights usurped her throne, splitting the nation in two and sparking a terrible conflict. Legend has it, this battle brought an end to knighthood and chivalry. She killed every knight who once served her and invaded the land she'd fought to defend. All the knights who followed her were gone, and her own body lay injured and immobile. There was no one left around her. As ever, nothing has changed. All she had in her heart is the pride of a king. She'd known about this ending. Still, she believed that there was something to be gained from this future, which is why she kept fighting, without ever failing or disgracing herself. She had no regrets. If she were to have one, it would be seeing her nation in ruin. She raised her gaze. Maybe she would be able to see her castle. She saw only the aftermath of battle. Dense forest, a lake to which she must return. Right. The hill she meant to charge over has become a wall she cannot climb. Strength left her body. For the first time, she loosened her grip on the sacred sword. It was only natural the dream would end there, since there's nothing beyond that moment. And that is why this end cannot be rewritten. I'm curious about something. Saber seems to have she knows she was summoned 10 years ago. So I'm assuming she has memories from the Holy Grail War 10 years ago. Will Shiro see her memories from then? She worked so hard. She was resented, betrayed. No one understood she loved her people more than her nation. She came to be known as a merciless king. She was never rewarded or understood. Why couldn't anyone give her, I don't know, a Twinkie? Show her we care. On top of the crimson-stained, sword-strewn hill, the girl sat on the edge of death, isolated and betrayed. Betrayed! Oh boy, I'm so betrayed. Heart of Saber will be played by Nathan Lane. I wake up to the sound of rain. It's like rain. It's morning. I grip my spinning head and sit up. Just before 6 o'clock. The rain patters softly outside. That dream I just had. No, there's no doubt about it. It was Saber's past again. Again, I know that was a different thing, but seriously, it's almost freaking exactly the same as this one, it feels. I feel like could have, skipped 90% of this scene. I grit my teeth. Oh, what was that gritting teeth sound? That was an awful sound. Don't ever make that sound effect again. I hear them grinding. No, I don't want to ever hear a video game do a grinding teeth noise again. I don't know why, but I'm mad. Oh. What the heck was that? Just thinking about it, me off. Her past. The fact she didn't even think anything of it. Me thinking the dream was nothing before. Arrgh! I hate it! I don't even understand why, but it makes me angry that I saw the exact same cutscene again. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. No matter how you slice it, her life was unfair. So unfair. She only wanted to help people. Wanted nothing for herself. But as hard as she worked, one never understood her. Not even at the very end. And that really me off. It's so unfair. That's right. If she worked harder than anyone, she doesn't receive any reward. It's all just a whole bunch. She should be rewarded for everything she's done. But how could that happen at this point?
You could let her take a bath without you interrupting her? That seems like a pretty nice reward to me.
What, I just tell her she did a good job? Do I pat her on the head? Would she like that?
She'd like that at this point, I think.
Do I tell her how wonderful she was? No, of course not. Nothing so simple could do her justice. I know. There's only one answer. If she's to be rewarded, the work she devoted her life to should be repaid. Arturia needs happiness to match all the battles she fought. What can I do? I'm out of ideas.
Again, missing the front part of the quote.
I don't have any idea how to make people happy.
I feel that. I'm bad at gift giving too, Shiro.
I'm so useless at this kind of thing. My entire life I've wanted to be a champion of justice, but all I ever did was lend a hand here and there. I believed everyone around me would be happy if I just helped people, or rather... Erg! Helping people and saving people are very much not the same thing. If I don't understand the difference myself, I can't possibly reward Saber. Breakfast is the same. Got the sense Saber and Tosaka are pretty adaptable since they already gotten used to Ilya.
So, what are you going to do, Shiro? There are 3 masters left, and the Holy Grail War isn't exactly never-ending. So you should be making a move soon. Always being the one reacting to everyone isn't a good look. Tosaka's right. If I don't do anything, I'm probably gonna get kidnapped again. There's nothing wrong with me physically, and Saber's healed. We should be done resting as of yesterday. You're right. Say we need to make a move, but it'll have to be at night. Because we're going to do the same things we've been doing during the day. Are you serious? I guess it wouldn't do us any good if you just aimlessly wander around without information. So Saber's gonna beat you up again?
I'm going to continue my sword training with Saber. That's what we've been doing every day, and a master should always be prepared for battle. I know the gift I can give. Maybe I can try to give Saber a concussion. It helped me out. Friend, what Shiro and I are doing is training. The way you phrased it may have caused misunderstanding.
Well, actually, yeah. I'm gonna get beaten up by Saber in the morning like usual. At this point, I kind of like it, but I'm a little too afraid to say that out loud. Oh, I said the quiet part out loud.
Shiro, if you describe it that way, you put me in somewhat of a difficult position.
Oh, sorry, Saber, I wasn't listening.
As I was saying, Rin's choice of words is too harsh. What is the matter with you, Shiro? Your lack of vigor this morning. The breakfast you prepared was also bland. Were you in the shed until late last night?
Saber may be questioning me, but
There's no real bite to it. And since she trusts me, which makes it even harder to meet her gaze now, if her eyes meet, I can't help but think of seeing that scene on the hill. Fine, I shall put some life into you later on, if you know what I mean. We're going to be training in the dojo. What about you, Ilya? You gonna stalk us again? Me? I'll do the same as yesterday. I don't like getting all wet in the rain, so I don't want to go outside.
Got it. Perfect. I'd rather you stay in the house since it's, dangerous to go outside. It's kind of the point of you staying here so you don't get killed, I guess. Even though I want you to go to the church where you're supposed to go.
Yes, if you make bento again like yesterday, I wouldn't mind joining you.
Seems like Ilya took a liking to the bento. Alright. I'm a little embarrassed that something so simple pleased her. But at the same time, I'm glad to know Ilya enjoyed the bento. So it'll be exactly the same as yesterday. I'm going to my room. I have things to look up, but come by in the afternoon. There is something I want to talk to you about. Are you researching something? Yeah, I think you might have noticed, but something's been going on at Ryodao Temple since yesterday. They've been collecting magical energy really diligently the whole time, but then stopped. Something super bad is about to happen. And I think that the remaining masters, our biggest threat, is the one at Ryodao Temple. I'll send out my familiar to try and figure out what's going on. Then, should you not focus on your investigation? I see no need for you to take the time to teach Shiro. Well, then I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to bear with me on that. Saber getting a little jelly of our time with Ren? I'm still worried about Shiro, so I can't just leave him to his own devices. He's gonna do stupid stuff. It's true, I will. It might be one thing for him to die at the hands of an enemy, but since I'm his teacher, it would bother me if he did something dumb and got himself killed. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Something must have been wrong with me. I don't know why I would have believed your lessons would be unnecessary. Oh, the reasoning is pretty simple, but it's best not to talk about it. Saber and Shiro sitting in a tree. Good luck with your morning training. Shiro's pretty resilient, so it's probably best if you beat him within an inch of his life. He'll totally be into that. It's true, I will. And with that, Tosaka leaves the room. Saber, take what Tosaka says with a grain of salt. You can say that because she's actually never been hit by you. I tell her that just in case. For some reason, she seems pleased. Don't worry, I understand your body better than she does. She responds calmly. Ah, close. What is the matter? Are you not going to eat, Chevelle? You've eaten less than a third of what you did yesterday. I just can't eat this. I can't eat spicy food. I do not think it's particularly spicy. The spices used to go well with chicken. I said I don't like mustard. Just eat this for me, will you? In return, I will eat your strawberry. Well, we're seeing the most epic fight in the history of this game so far. Saber versus Ilya for the right to the strawberry championship of the world. What are you doing, Ilchevel? Return that this instant. You may not have that. If you want something, then there is apple pie. Ilya and Saber sit next to each other, bickering like sisters. Just past noon, and the three of us sit facing each other, eating lunch like yesterday. Only, it's not just lunch that's the same as yesterday. Our training was as well. Today, though, it was even more awkward. I don't know how to explain it, but something in my chest stirs whenever I face Saber, and I find myself unable to rush at her with the same desperation I used to. That means we're halfway through the day! Woohoo! It's not just me. Saber's been acting weird too. It used to be she never let an opening go by. In the last couple of days, she hasn't hit me because she's totally crushing on me. This day has been a lot of repeating the same stuff over and over again, but we'll keep it up. We'll keep it up. What's going on with you two? You're not very fun to watch now. Ilya's What's going on, you two? You're not very fun to watch now. Ilya's criticism helped us get back in the swing of things. I managed to go after Saber, but kind of ended pretty much the same. She batted my attempts past and didn't even bother countering. Since she didn't follow up, I whirled on Saber, lunged again, and was once more repelled.
She didn't even counterattack. We stopped 10 minutes ago, and once again, it was Saber's suggestion. We've been having the same thing we did yesterday. Sandwiches! Figured it wouldn't even make them exactly the same as yesterday, so I added other ingredients. Everyone seems happy except the girl who doesn't like mustard. But I'm with Ilya on this. Ilya's in the right. I don't want mustard on my sandwich. Ilya's excited over the colorful sandwich, and Saber takes a deep breath. I think that's Saber's way of showing enthusiasm. Much rowdier than yesterday. Raining and the hardwood floor is cold, but this feels like a picnic. That is enough, Il Cheval. If you eat like that, you will dirty your clothes. Honestly, this is what happens when you mimic Shiro and try to eat in one bite. Your mouth is small and pathetic, so you should eat more daintily. You're the one who doesn't understand, Saber. It is even less polite to worry about manners with a meal like this. This is a picnic, so this is how you should be eating, right, Shiro?
Ilya happily munches her sandwich, and Saber reluctantly wipes Ilya's mouth with the napkin.
That tickles, Saber.
Didn't see this coming. Saber and Ilya seem to have warmed up to each other. It'll make it all the more heartbreaking when I order Saber to stab her.
This is a surprise. Are you not going to push me away, Il Cheval? Why would I? I love when people are nice to me. Especially right before I murder them. Yes, if anyone else tried to touch me, I'd kill them. But Saber is pretty, so I will allow it.
That's a double standard. Ilya, you need to kill everyone equally.
And we are sharing a meal now. If Saber likes me, I like her too.
It's so simple for Ilya. Saber clearly is taken aback and just stares at Ilya dumbfounded. Even I, just as a spectator as this unfolds, kinda caught off by Ilya's smile.
What, you don't think this is fun, Saber?
No, I don't.
I'm having tons of fun. It's raining outside. This place is so simple and bleak. There's nothing here that I've ever wanted. But just being here is fun. It's much nicer than being all alone. Are you not having fun, Saber?
Something in Ilya's smile must have struck Saber. Saber sighs deeply and looks back at her. This is the part where you sneak attack her and give her the concussion. You can do it, Saber! You are correct. I am enjoying being here. I would enjoy it more if you use your sword to hit people, but sure. She sounds bright.
Then Saber smiles in a way I've never seen from her.
Urgh!
I don't know why, but I'm getting emotional. Smile was great. It was for herself and herself alone. It's not the usual smile I see whenever she's protecting someone. It's a smile of sheer happiness from her, for her, from her.
Shiro, what does that look for? Did something good happen?
Nothing. Was I making a funny face? Yes, you were. You made a face like a father, like you're watching over us from afar.
Don't make it creepier than it already is, Ilya.
I don't like it.
Well, why? I don't understand what she's talking about, but I guess I was just smiling. I see. Well, something good happened, so I guess I didn't realize I was smiling.
Something good, was it?
Yeah. I like the way you smiled just now, Saber. Seeing it made me happy.
You're weird. That makes you happy, Shiro?
I guess. I like seeing you smile like that, Saber. But when you word it like that, it becomes creepy. Saber nods, but she doesn't seem convinced. And then, I don't know what came over her, but she smiles and lifts her head. I see. Then it must be the other way around, Shiro. What do you mean the other way around? Ilya brings happiness to all. She tried to steal her strawberry. That is bringing misery to everyone. Ilya has committed the ultimate sin of strawberry stealing. No, Ilya goes straight to baby jail. I'm happier to see you smiling. If you keep smiling, then that is good enough for me. I can't meet Saber's gaze. That smile would make anyone lightheaded. I managed to calm myself and glance alongside Saber. Calmly resumes the picnic lunch. Nothing to worry about there. There should be nothing to worry about, yet something's bothering me. I am happy seeing you smile. Smile I saw for the first time. It seems like she was contradicting herself. What do you know? She is just as stupid as you are when it comes to making yourself happy. It's perfect. You belong together, idiot. I listened to the rain in Tosaka's room, and today, under the pretense of magecraft lessons, she performed yet another physical exam yesterday. Gave me more crack. Not that I mind doing it, it's just I don't feel like I'm doing anything productive. She tells me not to move so she can see what happened to me. That doesn't matter. Saka, do you have a minute? I call out to her and sit in my meditation pose. My super cool meditation pose. Okay, I'm like L in Death Note. Gotta sit in a meditating pose. Yeah, I'm cool now. What is it? It's about Saber. I really don't know how to explain it, but I realize I kind of haven't thought this through at all. Not even a question of what can I do for Saber. I haven't even thought about what I want to do with her, if you know what I mean. I was wondering what she wants to do. Never told us about what she wants to do for herself, so, do we take her to Six Flags? Do you think Saber would like that? You don't know what Saber's thinking. No, it's not that. I just don't know why she's so selfless. Yeah, I just don't know what to do about that. Well, you're right. The only thing she's done voluntarily is protect you, so it's a natural thing for a servant to do. I can't blame you for thinking that since she's been so dedicated to it. But that doesn't mean she's selfless. Saber's protecting you because protecting you helps fulfill her goals. Oh, yeah! She became a servant for a reason. You're right. Saber wants to get the Holy Grail. It's not like she doesn't have any goals, and that Holy Grail will grant the possessor a wish. That means Saber at least has a wish she wants granted. I don't know what it is. She wants it enough to become a servant. So it must have something in hope of saving her. For example, she's here in this time period, and the power of the Holy Grail can help her, so she can stay here, and she can live a second life with me. And Taiga. And Sakura. Ah, just the four of us. And she would have to wish for something that big just to make up for all the suffering and tragedy she's endured. It's actually pretty simple. You're energetic all of a sudden. You're creeping me out. Were we talking about something fun or you get all excited? Yeah, I am excited. And yeah, she shouldn't be fighting so hard unless it was something really big. After all, Saber needs to fight for her own wish. Make your dreams not dreams. I nod to myself. Osaka seems really confused. Emiya, sorry to rain on your parade, but you just jumped to the wrong conclusion. Saber's not fighting for her own sake, idiot. You understand that, right? Saber isn't like that. She doesn't want the Holy Grail for herself. What? Can't even ask that. I know, she met her final moments alone because she didn't have any desires for herself. Because she's stupid, just like you, Shiro. So Saber wouldn't seek for her own salvation now. But still, I hoped otherwise, even for a brief moment. So I pushed my distorted desire on her. Yeah, your distorted desire of what you think she wants, while you also don't know what you want.
Two peas in a stupid pod. Our conversation trails off. Awkward silence. This might be a boring story, but Archer said something similar to what you said. Archer? You mean your Archer? What other Archer would she be talking about? Like, is she going to be talking about the one girl from school who's the head of the archery club who we haven't seen in a billion years? Yeah, I asked him once what his wish was, and do you know what he said? I don't know what that jerk would say. I try not to think about him at all. Archer once declared we were both bound to be enemies anyway, so he made no effort to communicate with me and Saber. Yet, he may have been cynical, but he didn't seem to have stupid objectives in mind. I love this game. Get it? You're going to laugh. When I asked him what his wish was, he said, "How about world peace forever?" It was so stupid I couldn't help but laughing. And then he got all weird and said, "I knew you'd laugh. Well, you know, there's no meaning in gaining salvation from others. Fine, let's just say this was a joke and leave it at that." It made me think that that's probably why a guy like him became a heroic spirit to get ordered around by a girl like me. I see. He didn't look it, but he was a great proud knight in his own right. But don't get the wrong idea. The Holy Grail grants any wish. Permanent world peace would be like the worst one. It just means nothing happens. If there was no conflict in the world, that would be just as good as death. If nothing happens, the only thing is to rot away from stagnation. I don't know if I have that kind of thought process when it comes to frickin' world peace. Just like, I get the idea, just like, if there's no conflict and there's no advancement, then there is no advancement or anything. Just like, no, it's kind of nice not to have war and death and like everyone live in peace and love. This world is made of love and peace. Did Archer tell you that too? I did, and he said, "That's what the wise would think." I agree, but I'm still gonna follow this dream, even if it is a fool's dream. Then I pressed him about whether he had any other wishes, and he said, "I do, but it's not a wish that should be granted by the Holy Grail. So I will let you make your own wish in my place." Pretty pretentious, right? I bet he was quite the womanizer when he was alive. I didn't get that impression from him, but what's your point, Osaka? Nothing particular, I was just saying there are two different kinds of servants. Please, tell me what's the next topic, like the entire reason we're having a conversation. Nothing big, but I was curious. Might be a bit late to the game, but do you know the legend of King Arthur? The legend of King Arthur. I've been reminded enough about it. I know as much as the next person, although I didn't know Arthur was a girl. Right, her sex doesn't matter though. King Arthur being a girl doesn't change the legend. So long as Arthur managed to hide that fact from everyone, she would be treated as a man anyway. Well, except for the fact that about maybe having a kid, I think that would throw something in, a wrench in the plans, but whatever. Fortunately, King Arthur had a mage called Merlin. Merlin was truly devilish, half incubus actually. It would have been easy for him to hide Arthur's sex or prepare a child who shouldn't have been born. Thank you for saying literally the thing I was thinking of. And speaking of Merlin, Merlin the kitty rule. Merlin's the best. Everyone loves Merlin. Yeah, I bet. So, my concern is the discrepancy between the legend and the saber we have. Emiya, do you know what Excalibur was? Excalibur was like a little white monster in a top hat and a cane that would jump around saying, "Excalibur, Excalibur. From the United King, I am looking for them. I'm going to California." Oh! Excalibur is a symbol of King Arthur. It's a sword fairies gave her, famed for being able to cut through anything without ever dueling. Merlin being an incubus isn't something fate made up, by the way. That's real Arthurian legend. Cool. Don't think I heard that part of the legend. Yay! That's what I figured you'd say. Tosaka looks oddly triumphant. Is that a weird thing to say? Yeah, you and Arthur made the same mistake. If Merlin was around, he probably would mock you for being a fool. Fool! Why is that? The sword in the stone wasn't Excalibur. That sword broke. He later received another sword from a fairy in a lake, and that was Excalibur, right? Yeah, when King Arthur received Excalibur, Merlin asked,
My king, which do you prefer, the sword or the sheath?
King Arthur answered the sword without a moment's hesitation, but Merlin scolded the king for that.
Do not mistake their worth. A sword may cut your enemies, but your sheath protects you. So long as you protect that sheath, you will not spill a single drop of blood nor sustain injury. The sheath, rather than the blade, is what you should value.
That's suppose. Tosaka skillfully acts out the parts between Arthur and Merlin. Look at you, Tosaka. You're really getting into the part. So what's your point? Come on, do you still not get it? It means Arthur is immortal. Excalibur is an invincible noble phantasm in both offense and defense. Which is why Saber should be able to heal immediately. Tosaka, Saber's wounds do heal. Yeah, that's true, but Saber's self-heal comes from using great amount of magic. And that sounds like it's separate from the sheath of the Legend of Excalibur. I see. If you say so, it's probably true. And here's my question. You said King Arthur is immortal, then how did King Arthur die? The legend ends with Arthur's death, right? Huh? Tosaka's mouth drops. After freezing for a few seconds, she grinds her teeth and looks away. Right, Excalibur's sheath was stolen. Rookie mistake right there. I'd forgotten, but according to the legend, King Arthur's fate was sealed the moment the king lost the all-important sheath. So are you convinced now, Tosaka? Yeah, go ahead and make fun of me if you want. I will. Ha ha ha, she got something wrong. Point and laugh. I can tell she's ready to kick me on the head the moment I laugh at her. It's all good as long as you understand, but why did that bother you so much? It shouldn't matter to you whether Saber gets hurt or not. Hello, Lisa. Welcome in. We are just discussing Arthurian lore. And we are currently on wait-and-see watch whether we are going to have another co-ed bath situation. It's not impossible. We will probably, I assume we will take a bath before we go out and try to save the world. At least that's what I would do personally. Because you're going to be out saving the world like really late at night, and by the time you get home, like yes, you'll probably want another bath, but at that point you might also want to just jump straight in the bed. Yeah, we had that yesterday. That's kind of partially how the stream mostly ended, with some good old collarbone action. I make mistakes sometimes too, you know. Hope you're doing well today, Lisa. Has the job started yet, or is that still a couple of weeks away? Love a good collarbone. Oh, collarbone gives you some good stuff. But hey, but we want to keep this stream PG-13-ish. So if we get even a hint of another collarbone, TOS Tomberry is here to protect us from such a scandalous thing. You had your first day today. It was good. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Hopefully the training is going to go well. Would there be any benefit to point out that she makes mistakes a lot, not just sometimes? Some of them are like kind of fatal mistakes, which end in disemboweling. By the time the sun sets, the rain has stopped completely. Here comes the rain falling down on me. Based on our conversations during the break, we're heading to town to look for the other master. But I should check something beforehand. The bathtub! Is it the bathtub? I should check Saber's intentions. That could still be the bathtub. What is her purpose in fighting? I shouldn't just ask her straight out. I need to be super casual about it.
Still, could be talking about the bathtub. I hyped myself up again. Definitely could be talking about the bathtub. Then push my feet to the living room seems like a good starting place, and then end in the shower. I'm going to leverage the peaceful pre-dinner mood to try to get through to Saber's stubborn nature. Why are we being confrontational with Saber? This seems like a stupid idea. Whatever. What if, hypothetically, what would we do if we won the Holy Grail War? So much for casual. Good job, Shiro. There are no more bath scenes in the entire visual novel. No. Okay. It's for the best. I thought about it a lot and couldn't come up with anything so smooth, so I just decided to blunt it out. Huh? Huh? All three of them offer more or less the same response, though with slightly different expressions, mainly because they're three different human beings. Well, like I said, after we win, we just want to talk about what we do once we get that Holy Grail. Yeah, got that. Where did this idea come from? Saber and Ilya don't nod, but they seem to agree. I guess it is kind of weird coming up out of the blue out of nowhere. But I gotta play dumb for now. Shiro, you will not be playing dumb. You are dumb, my sweet protagonist, stupid child. Yeah, well, I'm just asking. If you had the Holy Grail, what would you wish for? Like, straight up, I know I would be in a situation where, like, I don't know. Money? Like, peace? That's probably what I would end up with. Well, you might be right. I guess even Shiro could be thinking about that right now. You did join the war, so I guess it's no surprise you got your mind on the reward. Yeah, I would like to think that. I'm glad Tosaka likes to focus on reasons for things. Tosaka will allow for the possibility of anything that seems logical, which is really one of her better qualities. This is just something I brought up to discuss, though. So what about you, Tosaka? What would you do if you got the Holy Grail? I try to be as neutral as possible. Let's see, I've only really thought about winning, and there's nothing I want to wish for from the Holy Grail. I guess I'd take it. But I never thought of what I'd do with it. So she's fighting because she just doesn't want to lose. Sure, we can have that mentality. I figured that was the case, but I didn't know for sure until she just said it. I don't believe this. You seem like the one person who would have had it worked out. You seem to have thought about it the least. Say what you want. What about you then, Ilcheval? I don't know. I was just told not to give up the Holy Grail to anyone, because it's mine. It's mine to begin with. I obviously don't care. Is that so? So you're saying you enjoy the Holy Grail more than you enjoy the war more than the Holy Grail? Of course, I only came here to win and to murder all of you. I don't care what it gets used for. They're two peas in a pod. They do stare at each other in silence, and they seem to be coming to some sort of understanding. Saber doesn't say anything. Alright, it's Merlin time. Merlin is scratching at the door, so we get kitty time. Saber doesn't say anything. She probably doesn't intend to join the conversation. No matter how much she resists, I still have to ask. What you doing? You scratch on my door, you play the kitty tag. Mwah. Love you whether you like it or not, Merlin. Mwah. The most adorable kitty in the world. Bye! You're here for food. You're gonna have to wait like 2 or 3 hours. It's not your food time yet. They don't have a wish, so more for us. Yay! We should do the thing. We should just wish for more wishes. There we go. That solves all our problems. And then I can give them wishes too. Perfect. Nothing could go wrong. I have a good idea of your goals. I tried to turn as naturally as possible. So, what about you, Saber? She's been quiet the whole time. Saber doesn't reply. Sensing that something's amiss, Tosaka and Ilya stop and turn towards Saber. Silence is super duper awkward. I need not remind any of you of this, but it is my duty to obtain the Holy Grail. I know little of the Holy Grail's potential, but so long as it is a Holy Grail, I must obtain it. And if it is possible, I will have my wish granted. There it is. Saber just said she has a wish of her own! I see! So what is your wish? I try to calm my racing heart and keep composed as I ask. Saber doesn't answer. Fine. That's fine. I totally didn't want to know what her super cool, super awesome wish was going to be. Can't answer. Chances are good it's because her wish is a selfish one. Knowing Saber, she may hesitate to reveal her wish to anyone if she's wishing for something selfish. I think I'd rather she keep quiet than make something up. I feel myself trying to back away from the question. Is it really that complicated? Grandfather said that servants want to come back to life in this world. They want the Holy Grail for a second chance at life. Is that the case with you, Saber? Saber jerks her head up. If that's what she wanted, then there's no problem with that. Which means... No, I have no interest in a second life. I really have no interest in that MMO, whatever that thing is online. I plan to avoid that at all cost. I will stick with puzzles and pirates, thank you very much. My only goal is to obtain the Holy Grail. The price I pay to have a chance at obtaining the Holy Grail was becoming a servant. Kitty. Indeed. You crawl in my lap, you get on the camera, whether you like it or not. Love you, buddy. Get out of here. Someone who took an oath and drew the sacred sword wouldn't seek a second life. It's a turning contradiction moment there for you if you remember what a servant is. The price I paid was a chance to obtain the Holy Grail was becoming a servant. I probably don't remember exactly what you mean by what a servant is. Oh well, I'll figure it out when we get there. Hold on, you became a servant just to obtain the Holy Grail. You formed a contract when you became a Holy Spirit? Yes, I asked to seek the Holy Grail in exchange for becoming a servant. So do they get a... So people get a choice if they want to become a servant? It's not just like, oh, you're famous enough. Your story is famous enough and we have an artifact from your time. Or is this just like a one-time situation that she actively chose? Or maybe it has something to do with what Merlin said, which is like, hey, you pick that sword up, you're no longer human. Is that like when she picked up the sword, did she become a servant in that moment? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. Huh. Servants seek the Grail. You don't become one to seek the Grail. There is a cause and effect are reversed. Are you saying you weren't summoned as a servant to help a master get the Grail, but you chose to become a servant to get the Grail yourself?
Osaka stares at Saber with her weird hand pose. She tilts her head confused. So Saber wasn't summoned because she's a heroic spirit, but because she just volunteered to join the war? Yeah, she kind of does battle. That's kind of all Arthur does. As long as she's a servant, she's supposed to be a reputable heroic spirit. That means she can't affect the world herself. So Saber must have gone around the rules for servant, which she obviously hasn't. Hold on a minute. I need to organize my thoughts. No, you don't. You need do nothing of the sort. You are correct, Ren. I am different than the other servants. I have yet to become a complete servant. Not a complete servant? Thank you for saying the obvious thing, which I was going to say. What does that mean? Well, first of all, what does it mean to become a servant? Saber just said she agreed to become a servant as a price she had to pay in order to obtain the Grail, which means... Hold on a minute. Are servants forced to fight as the price to get what they want? When did she form this deal? Is this something she did in life while she was alive? If that's the case, did Arthur fight in a Holy Grail War as a master? Or did she just learn about the Holy Grail War from Merlin and one didn't happen in her lifetime? And she still wanted access to the Grail? No, that is incorrect. Servants are special familiars that exist only for the Holy Grail War. A servant is created through special summoning magecraft which employs the characteristics of heroic spirits. They are already heroic spirits, so there are no rules which say the servant must work because they are given something. Hello, Fangs! I'm glad you enjoyed hanging around during my I am asleep and forgot to hit the end stream button because I just sort of walked away because I had to cook right after stream. Luckily, I will highlight it, and no one will ever know that happened. No one's ever going to know it happened, dang it. Right, the servant system uses heroic spirits, which are guardian incarnations. It's working with something that already exists, so neither servants nor masters have to pay a price to use the system. But I have heard that before becoming a servant, you have to pay a price to become a heroic spirit in the first place. Okay, so it isn't just you were famous, your spirit lives on in like the hearts and minds of the people of the world. You have to choose to become a heroic spirit. Heroic spirits and guardians for humans are guardians for humans. But how is that possible? I thought there were fictional heroic spirits. I am now more confused about this system than before. Even after their death, they work to protect humanity and prevent the destruction of the human world. So that just tells me all the quote-unquote fictional heroic spirits are real. Okay. And in order to become a guardian, the person must, while they are still active as a hero in their lifetime. Now I'm wondering, is there like a difference between a guardian and a heroic spirit? My brain is getting twisted around by the lore. Not all are fictional. There is Joan of Arc. Yes, I know not all are fictional. There are real people who are servants. But like the lore they are throwing at me right now is completely throwing me off. There's a contract to become a heroic spirit, a ritual to give themselves to the world after they die. The beneficiaries of this exchange become heroes, and after they've done what they want to do as a hero and eventually died, they repay that debt by becoming a heroic spirit. Okay. Basically, in order to become a hero in life, they go into a sort of debt, which they then repay as a heroic spirit after death. Now that takes me back to the theory that the second Arthur took the sword from the stone, that's the moment they became a heroic spirit. Masters like us use servants because we swoop in and make use of that debt heroic spirits are trying to repay. So you're saying humans become heroes by making some sort of trade, and in return, they get used and summoned as heroic spirits, familiars after their death. Okay. I am going to interpret this as heroic spirits can be made through fictional lore and popularity, but it is possible for a human to become a heroic spirit through this ritual. So there are two ways to become a servant. That is how I think I am understanding this. Which means the deal Saber made to become a heroic spirit was for... Oh. When Saber obtained the Holy Grail in her lifetime, the price she has to pay is serving as a heroic spirit, a sort of guardian even after her death? That doesn't sound right. Saber said her goal was the Holy Grail, but she already obtained it, since she became a hero in exchange for the Holy Grail. That is not correct, Shiro. I have not yet obtained the... Okay, yeah, I was about to say, wait. Is it a part of Arthurian legend that Arthur had the Holy Grail, and we're just, like, throwing that in here as part of this? This section of the lore has absolutely thrown me for a loop. Altaria, King Arthur's wish was to obtain the Holy Grail during their lifetime. I had to obtain the Holy Grail before I died. That is why I agreed to become a guardian after I died, so I could first obtain the Holy Grail. If I could... That is why I agreed to become a guardian after I died. If I could first obtain the Holy Grail. Okay. I so desperately wish this game had like a codex, like frickin' the science adventure games do with their terminology. Because I need to know what exactly is a guardian, what exactly is a heroic spirit, what exactly is a servant. After I died, if I could... So, Saber is not a guardian. Based on that sentence, Saber is not a guardian. Because to become a guardian after I died, if I could first obtain the Holy Grail. She just said, I did not obtain the Holy Grail. So that means she did not become a guardian. There are three people that look the same, which doesn't help. Yeah, I'm going to ignore the red saber and like the black saber, and just like going to pretend like none of those exist. Saber is not dead, is what the sentence is saying. Okay, thank you. So Saber truly is immortal and is still a human. Okay. The wording of a lot... First, they are throwing like a lot of crazy things. Second of all, like the wording of some of the sentences are like making me twist my brain around. Just like, what do you mean exactly by that? Like, this is like the most important lore dump we've had in a while. As Ren explained, humans form contracts with the world to become heroes. In exchange, they receive powers beyond human ability, which they pay for by serving after death. But I did not require the world's help to become a hero. Fortunately, King Arthur required no such aid. Okay. So she's just straight up that strong, her and the sword. There's no world's help. There's no outside force. Her with Excalibur is just that strong. She didn't need any help to become a hero, so Saber became a hero on her own. And yet here you are as a heroic spirit? Does that mean you asked for something else from the world after King Arthur became a hero? Yes, I required the Holy Grail in my final moments. A wish that must be granted presented itself, though I needed the Holy Grail. That is why Okay, she did form the heroic spirit contract. I offered to wield my sword as a heroic spirit after my death, so long as I could lay my hands upon the Holy Grail. In her last moments, she wished for the Holy Grail's miracle. Now I understand her feelings. That blood-soaked heel, swords standing as gravestones, the bodies of so many knights, a lone king whose reign ended in betrayal. Didn't deserve the end she met. Even if she hadn't had a wish of her own before, she must have thought, I can't die here. This isn't the end I want, and that's why there's no shame in using the power of the Holy Grail to prolong her life. I see. So you seize the means of obtaining the Holy Grail by selling yourself after death. But Saber, your condition was obtaining the Holy Grail while you were still alive, right? But then... Yes, I could not complete my search for the Holy Grail while I was alive. I, King Arthur, could not obtain the Holy Grail even at the very end. But that would nullify my contract. For the world to make a servant out of me, it must provide the Holy Grail while King Arthur yet lives. And that is why King Arthur will not die until she obtains the Holy Grail. That is to say, she cannot die. That means you're... Yes. Time for King Arthur, for me, stopped at the moment of my death. Okay. So time... So did time stop for her twice? Or did she draw the sword, age as king, and then time stopped again? Or just, no, time stopped. The flashbacks have established her body stopped aging when she obtained the sword. But now she's just doubling down on that. I should have died a long time ago, but that does not fulfill the contract. King Arthur was summoned as a servant right at the moment of death, and she will die the moment she obtains the Holy Grail. So... it's not that time stopped, you're stuck in time. Time stopped as in literally, not aging at all. Okay. It doesn't matter how many times you repeat your fight as a servant, because you obtained the Holy Grail and fulfilling your contract is predetermined. That is correct. I will one day obtain the Holy Grail and my contract will be fulfilled. That is why I can be summoned as a heroic spirit in another age. The outcome of my arrangement has already been determined. This does not only apply to the Holy Grail in this town. Should there be a chance at obtaining a Holy Grail, I can be summoned to any battlefield. One day I will obtain the Holy Grail, and once my wish has been granted, time will resume to flow for me. King Arthur will meet her end, and in exchange of obtaining the Holy Grail, she will become a Holy Spirit. So she has to get the Holy Grail in order to die. And once she dies, she can become a Holy Spirit and participate in even more Holy Grail wars. Yay! So for you, it's like a dream just before dying, one you can't wake from. This Holy Grail war is just a part of the dream. And the only way for you to wake up is just to get the Holy Grail. You believed I could not enter the spirit form because Shiro's inexperienced. Thank you! Thank you for answering this question. Like this was throwing me off yesterday. It's like, Wait, we've established the connection. She has all the spirit energy in the world. Why can't she enter spirit form now? Thank you for answering for me. It may only be a technicality, but I am considered a living person. Just like during the last Holy Grail War. Saber's tone is apologetic. Probably feels bad for laying the blame at us for not being able to enter spirit form on my ineptitude. I don't care about that. There's something I need to ask. Saber. What do you mean you're not dead? I get that you won't die until you obtain the Holy Grail. Based on how you described it, you haven't been alive since the time of Tiro? Then who are you right now? You're not a clone of a real person or anything, right? So now, okay, the way I'm now understanding it, like, the second she died on the battlefield, like, she entered, like, whatever the heroic spirit draft pool is, entered, like, a void or something, still technically alive, but comes out during Holy Grail War Saber time. That is correct. Heroic spirits, when summoned, are like copies of a person's original body, but I've yet to reach that state. Until I obtain the Holy Grail, I appear as I am at the moment of my death. As Ren mentioned, King Arthur is now stopped in the Great River of Time. From where I am stranded, I jump both forward and back along the river's flow, and after I obtain the Holy Grail, I return to where time stopped for me. Oh. Wait, what? Thank you! Love this chart. This is a zero-time dilemma chart. I tried to diagram it in my head. Pretty simple once I visualize it. King Arthur is stopped in time at the moment before she dies. That doesn't matter to the wider flow of time. It continues on all the way to the present. And she jumps back whatever time she's needed, then returns to her own frozen moment in time, after she completes her duty. If she managed to obtain the Holy Grail in one of the times she visits, she'll be swept back to the proper flow of time and die, just as she does in the history we know. Maybe that's how heroic spirits work. When they die, they're transferred back to some sort of nexus where the flow of time stops. When they're summoned, they are taken to that. Yes, thank you. Thank you for explaining stuff. And that's probably what it means when a heroic spirit's being doubles. Kind of like a clone made from their original selves. The heroic spirit, which completely retains the abilities and memories they had while alive, appears in this world and gains more knowledge. But it's all useless. They have no means to return to their original body, instead just disappear. So no matter how many times or in how many different eras they're summoned, there will never be any inconsistency in the Holy Spirit's memory. So that explains why Saber remembers the past Holy Grail War she has participated in. And I assume heroic spirits forever do not remember. Alright? From the moment that person becomes a heroic spirit, they will never change. Even if they obtain new knowledge, it will thank you! There we go! Saber is not a servant. Each time she's summoned, she returns to her own time. Hold it. Objection. So, then what? If you manage to get the Holy Grail this time, you'll return to your own time and use the Holy Grail there? That's altering the past. Time travel or interfering in parallel worlds is magic. You can't do something like that. Unless she already has. But the Holy Grail makes that possible. My contract dictates that I will become a servant if I can use the Holy Grail. Even if using the Holy Grail causes that person, Arturia, to disappear. That is simply the cost of becoming a heroic spirit. Saber's so matter-of-fact about it. It doesn't sound right, though. Using the Holy Grail to grant a wish is fine, but Why would that have to mean Arturia has to disappear? What the heck? Arturia's going to disappear by using the Holy Grail? That's messed up. Saber, you're not going to... See the image of the girl dying on the hill alone. You're not going to use the Holy Grail to save yourself? What are you asking, Shiro? My only desire is to save my nation from ruin. I could feel my expression tensening up. Uh-oh, he's about to have his heart broken. Thought I knew Saber's wish. Now my head is spinning. I feel like throwing up. Why? And yet, I try to push the air out of my lungs and get the word out. There's no reason I should not. I could not protect my nation. I became king to protect the nation, but I failed to fulfill that duty. And that is when I thought, perhaps the sword and the sword and the sword and the stone was wrong to have chosen me. Ah, that's ridiculous! Why would she think that? No, that is a doubt I have always carried with me. Perhaps I was never fit to be king. Perhaps there was another hero who would have been a better choice. Even in the moment I pulled the sword, there must have been a better king out there, one able to save the nation while I could not. And so, if I could use the power of the Holy Grail to redo the selection of the king, perhaps I could. Is she saying that her nation wouldn't be destroyed if she was able to go back to that moment? I feel faint. I'm really angry at Saber for wishing for such a ridiculous thing. The feeling passes in an instant, though. I probably look like a deer in the headlights. Isn't it obvious? Saber's wish isn't for herself, and on top of that, she wishes for her own elimination. She exists because she became king by drawing the sacred sword, and pretend that never happened. I mean, she wouldn't exist.
Although, wouldn't she now technically exist as a heroic spirit if the contract does play out that way?
Let's say we use the Holy Grail to grant her wish. Arturia would never become king. She would just live in a timeline where she's an ordinary knight. And then, what would happen to the Saber I know? Even if it's only temporary, she already exists as a heroic spirit, kinda, sorta. And if her wish is granted, she'll continue on, but as a means only for fighting. She's already paid the price for obtaining the Holy Grail, so the Saber I know will continue existing even if Arturia never becomes king. She will be cut from the past and the future. She will always and only ever be a lonely knight dying on a blood-soaked hill. That's idiotic! I won't allow it! There's no hope of salvation there! Even if she was able to do all it over and there really was a better king and her nation did manage to last longer, it'd all be lies, even if it made everyone else happy. I can't let the past 10 years she fought through be a lie. No, you can't do that! You can't redo things! It wouldn't mean anything if you did, Saber! Shiro, don't use the Holy Grail for something like that! You obtain the Holy Grail because you fight for it! You should use that miracle for yourself! Screw other people! Be selfish!
Again, pot meet kettle.
But I have said I will be using that power for myself. Arturia must fulfill her duties as king. How does she not understand? You've already done more than your duty. You've already done so much. You didn't give up when you were feared or even when you were betrayed. You held on to your sword until the end on the hill. Why do you have to keep such promises even after you die? Saber looks bewildered.
Oh yeah, I hadn't told her I'd seen that yet. Awkward. I shouldn't have just blurted out that I've been dreaming about Saber's past. Whoopsie-doopsie. A heavy silence hangs between us. Can't think of what to say. Even if I can tell, speaking up will just make things worse right now. Can't just keep quiet. Saber, I don't like it when people aren't rewarded for their hard work. People deserve achievements. Do you hear that, Nintendo? People deserve achievement points. Dang it.
It's wrong. It's not fair. I get it's childish, but I want to believe that humans can find happiness if they really work for it.
Sony course corrected. That's what they course corrected fairly quickly on the PS3. They realized that people deserve achievements, and they did their own achievements. Nintendo, just give me achievements. I deserve achievements for disemboweling a lot.
I'm not going to lose to the other masters. I'm claiming the Holy Grail, no question.
And that's why I want you to make your wish.
That way I'll actually find some meaning in the stupid war. That's the conclusion I reached. I don't know what the Holy Grail is, nor do I even know if it's even something you should try to get. But if I could save Saber even a little, I'll go all out for her.
Uh-oh. Sound of heavy bells rings in the house as it goes dark. The air changes immediately. The lights go out, but Saber, Tosaka, and I don't say a word. We try to gauge our surroundings with our other senses. Oh yeah, we have 3 other servants to deal with. Luckily, they aren't going to do anything like team up against me. That would be really awkward for me.
The loud ringing stops and the living room goes silent, and yet soft rustling ripples throughout the house.
Does that alarm this house's bounded field? I nod in silence. It's the same sound as when Lancer broke in. Then that can only mean... Alright, placing bets. Lancer, Caster, Assassin, or some combination. I am going to go with Lancer. I think Lancer alone. That is my prediction. Sounds are getting closer and louder. Something sliding against or across something else. It sounds like a swarm of bugs rushing. Okay, maybe it's not Lancer. Swarm of bugs? We haven't seen that before, so now I switch over to Caster. The only place that doesn't seem to be coming from is the living room. It's not even been a minute since the lights went out and we're surrounded on all sides.
An enemy, but it doesn't seem like a servant. It's just too many of them.
Whatever people might say, I do have some knowledge of mages and junk. If I can sense that, there's a lot of magic energy coming from a lot of people. There are 20 at least.
But they also seem weirdly light. I don't sense any human will or intellect. The flapping sounds seem to come from enemy puppets?
Oh, so they did come. They've been running away from me this entire time. But now that Berserker's gone, here they are again. What a shrewd servant.
Ilya speaks her mind amidst the flapping sound. She, unlike the 3 of us, are pretty freaking calm. Do you know who this is?
Of course I do. I know all the servants. Aster is out there and she's brought quite an entourage with her. They look like cheap golems made of dragon teeth.
She. So Caster's a she. So unless Merlin changed sex via heroic spirit, and that is possible, I think Fate Samurai Remnant had that, actually. There's like a character who was like, yeah, I was 100% male. I ain't male now. So like, I'm still pushing that this could be Merlin. Mainly because I got no other idea. Who's someone who used dragon teeth, famously? I don't know. Ilya's so casual about this, and just then the sound stops. I grab the wooden sword in the living room. Saber and Tosaka seem to be waiting for me to make a move. I'll leave Caster to Saber and protect the 2 here. Saber and I will both head out. Ooh. Interesting choice. I Shiro loves to fight alongside Saber. He loves that more than just about anything. Although the only thing he might love more than that is protecting other people. Ooh, I love this. I am, throughout this entire campaign, I've been of the belief I should trust Saber more. And with the whole protection thing, we're actually giving Shiro a good excuse to trust Saber to do stuff. Saber has magic resistance. Let's protect Ren and the short one. Saber can take care of Castor. There's no servant left that Saber can't defeat. Saber should be good against Castor. Strong magic resistance should make her a good choice against Castor, who is a mage. Saber, you go. Yes, I shall go alone if we only face Castor. You have made the right choice. Again, only way this goes, the most obvious way this goes poorly is if Lancer is also there. I don't know if she can handle Lancers, Gabolg, and Castor at the same time. We'll hold down the fort. You just need to focus on defeating Castor. We could focus on, working together to defeat Castor, but we decided to not have Ren and Ilya go to the priest like they should be doing. Strange sound reaches me just as I finish speaking. Is it the sound of Saber tearing through Castor's familiars now that she's jumped out into the hall? I'm hearing more of them now. 20, 30, 40. No, they may be weak, but there's too many of them.
Shouldn't be a problem. Dragontooth warriors are imitations. They don't stand a chance against Saber. She's the incarnation of a dragon, and even 100 of them wouldn't be a match for her.
The sounds retreat into the distance. The horde I felt surround the house are gone. I assume Saber defeated them all. Like Ilya said, Castor's familiars can't stop Saber. They must not have made it in here because they couldn't get past Saber.
As expected, Saber found Castor. Castor's tried to recall all her familiars, but this looks like the end for her.
Ilya's right. The battle should be over soon. Saber won't lose in single combat. She shouldn't have any trouble cutting Castor down because she doesn't have to worry about protecting us. Why so glum? You look troubled, even though we're saying the fight's just over. I could say the same, Tosaka. Why does it look like something's bothering you? Yeah, it just seems like things are going too well. Let things go too well for once. We've had a hard time. We deserve to enjoy nice co-ed bath time, and we also enjoy some hamburgers. We get to enjoy watching Saber just destroy everything off screen. We deserve this. Castor knows Saber is way more powerful, so why just launch herself at us like this? She's right. Castor came here willingly. If she knows that there's a master here, she should already know which servant, too. So she knows that Saber is here, and that Saber is a bad matchup for her. If she knew that and still attacked, then that means... I don't hear anything. Ilya, do you sense Castor?
It's gone. The familiars are still around, but only servant left is Saber.
There's still familiars left? Look, Shiro, your arm! Huh? I look down at my left arm. Oh. I don't understand what happened. He was beaten in less than a minute. You keep thinking Saber can handle these things on her own, and this keeps happening. This is what I get. Maybe, I guess Shiro's just right this whole time. We can't just trust a girl to fight because, let's face it, she's just a girl. She can't handle it. She needs a man with her to handle things. Clearly, that's the lesson this game is trying to teach me. My command spell, proof of my contract with Saber, are gone. Shiro, did you use a command spell? No, I didn't.
What's going on? Saber should have defeated Castor easily. Why did my command spell disappear? Now, my command spell disappearing doesn't mean my contract is there, but I shouldn't be panicking. Command spells are there to control servants who can act against the Master's orders. I haven't needed to use them for Saber, so even if I lose them, Saber and I will be able to get along just fine.
Saber's back. She'll be here soon.
What are those two doing? Saber's just coming back. Why are they acting all worried and stuff? The door opens and Saber comes in. Hi, Saber! How are you doing? Good to see you, pal! Saber's gripping her chest. She seems to be in pain. Saber! I rush to her. No. Wait, Shiro. I don't hear Tosaka's warning. All I see is that Saber's injured. Are you okay, Saber? Where did you... What? No. Run, Shiro. Don't know who said that. Yay! Saber killed the orphan. Yay! Good job, Saber. From the shoulder to the waist. That counts! Ladies and gentlemen, we're up to 9. Heck yeah. So, despite having, like, the highest magic resistance possible, apparently Saber just got mind controlled, possessed, had her command spell stolen. I don't know what happened, but we got another disemboweling out of it. Yay, us! Again, this is why women aren't allowed to do things. The women clearly need a man there to do everything for them. Thank you, Fate Stay Night, for teaching me the lessons that I need to be taking with me throughout all of my life. So quick was the slash that for a moment I didn't even feel pain. My mysterious healing abilities don't seem to work against Saber's sword. Saber... Is this for the bath thing? My bad. My bad. World goes dark as I die. More than my fear of death, I find myself wondering why Saber attacked me.
Did it.
On the plus side, we get to see the true hero of the game! Taiga's back! Oh, Taiga, I've missed you so much! Why are you gone in this path? I hate it! This path sucks so much! We don't get Sakura! We don't get Taiga! Yes, I need to seek advice from the hero!
Good evening, everyone. This is Tiger Jojo, a Q&A spot that helps Shiro when he dies from easily avoided mistakes.
So the cause of death this time around was... The moral of the story is you should never let down your guard, no matter how much you seem to have the upper hand. Again, never let girls do anything when a man can do it. That is the lesson that we have clearly gotten from this. Shiro's a master, so he needs to control Saber whenever she rushes out so recklessly.
No, you got it wrong. Saber's at fault this time, right? She's the one who fell into Castor's trap. Obviously, that means she's losing focus. She's too horny. I bet she was self-conscious around Shiro and tried to show off. But she ended up killing Shiro. Honestly, how the mighty Saber class has fallen.
Does Saber get a line? No, Saber doesn't get a line. Panic, panic, panic!
Besides, she may be the strongest, but she hasn't got much in the way of wins under her belt. She's small, and she lacks charm. She's just a gluttonous muscle brain.
Okay, now you're being super rude. You're being a brat. Well, that's how you always act. You're always a brat. Ilya is just always just a mean-spirited, evil little child. Where was I going with this? Saber feels bad of the whole disemboweling him. Rubbing salt in the wound is not very samurai.
I see. So Bushido, the way of the samurai, is all about the lack of opulence, with no love, only sympathy. Fine, I shall let this go. But the fact of the matter is, Saber needs to be reeled in. Girls are so emotional they cannot control themselves. It's up to men to lead the way.
Sorry to butt in.
My mentor, what's with corporal punishment?
I told you already. None of that talk. No spoilers, and don't tick Saber off. She's really scary if she gets mad. Just the other day, someone had a near-death experience because they made Saber mad.
Oh, you mean that happened on day 13? That was really fun. Tiger, did you just hear a growling sound?
I don't think I... Ah! A rival appears!
Ah, what the heck? A weird thing is riding another weird thing, and it's coming right at us!
What? Ah! What was that? Alright. I have to cook in like 20 minutes, and I don't think this fight scene is going to be less than 20 minutes. So I think we should... Yeah, apparently there's a tiger in the dojo now. But come on, Tiger. Tiger versus Lion. The Tiger should have a better chance. Come on, Tiger. I believe in you. We will continue this next time. Depending on how my voice is Thursday, because Thursday we are hopefully doing Ace Attorney over at my buddy Worst Heroes channel, in which we are doing a whole lot of silly voice acting to Phoenix Wright. It happens late at night, tendency, so tune in tomorrow for that.